Good morning. Welcome to the Fun Side of Business podcast. I am one of your hosts, Nick Hampton.
And I'm your other host, Gemma Addison. So, Nick, who have we got on this morning?
Right, today we have local legend. He definitely is local legend. Everyone will have heard of him, but he described himself as just, right? Okay. So today we have just John Howard, property developer and local legend. John, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, John.
Hello. Thank you very much. I do quite a few podcasts around the country, and I think that's the best introduction I've had so far.
There we go. Jen, put that on my testimonial. I'm done now.
Put it on.
That's it. I'm
going to grab that as bite size and put that out.
And by the way, you get called legend when you're old. I've noticed that. So, that's what I've noticed in the last few years.
Yeah, don't know if that's a compliment then.
Not really. I wish I was a legend, that's for sure.
Okay, so John, you're well known in the area. To give us some of the properties that you've, for Ipswich and what have you, that you've picked up or developed or whatever.
Well, I've done stuff all over the UK, but certainly locally, I suppose the most well-known two at the moment would be the wine rack, which we bought it called a wine rack because from a distance, that's what it looked like. It was a concrete frame, and we finished it and sold them all off and so on. And the one we've now got another challenge, having said we wouldn't do another one, which is the mill next door.
That's the one on the one-way system, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the tallest building in Suffolk. So I got a call about this time last year, actually, from the receivers who we dealt with on the last one. That's what happens. You get to know people and, do you want it for £1? And I went, probably not, no.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I'll pass. Because you see all this nonsense on the internet, don't you, where people say, oh, yeah, I've paid £1 for this, I'm going to make millions. Well, I've paid £1, and unless I get a grant, we're going to be, there's nothing that clever in it, I can assure you. And the BBC, I remember being interviewed, said, well, you paid for £1 for it, how can you go wrong? I said, well, you can go wrong because it might cost a lot more than it's worth to finish. So anyway, we got 215 flats at the back, which we're recladding on behalf of the residents, and we're on schedule to start that work in April, May time, which is a great relief, I think, to 215 residents. Yeah. And that's all funded by the Levelling Up Fund, because I never knew quite what the Levelling Up Fund did. But it funds, it's a grant, it's part of it is providing the grant money for recladding these buildings which have got at fire risk.
Okay.
So that's about 25 million quid.
Does this all come from like the Grenfell?
From Grenfell,
okay, yeah.
And then as part of it, we've inherited Dance East at the front, which is obviously a very well-known dance studio around Europe, around the world probably. Yeah. And the 23-storey tower block that's not finished.
Is that the one with the octopus on the side of it?
No, that's one for... We haven't got to that one yet.
You're working your way down until someone offers you that one for £1.
We're trying to. So give us time.
Yeah.
And things take time. Always longer than you think. That's the most frustrating thing. But yeah, it's 23 stories, tallest building in Suffolk, 85 flats. So we're in the process also of trying to get a grant on that from Homes England, which is the government bank, so thank everyone listening because it's all taxpayers' money apparently. So that's great. So thank you all very much.
I guess with the budget coming up, they probably don't want to hear that right now.
No, probably not. And
you're welcome.
Well, you know what you're talking about, the budget. You're the experts on all that, not me. I get asked to comment on it and I'm going, well, I'm the wrong people to ask. I'm the wrong person to ask, to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, so that's that's obviously a very big project. But my very first project of any size was Sir Francis Tower, which is the one opposite Willis Faber.
Oh,
and
yes.
I bought that with Mr. Boyce, who was my backer when I was 24 years old. And I still do deals with his son today. So that's a 40-year relationship. And they're based at Newmarket and they own the Holiday Property Bond, which is a really big setup. And we bought that building at St. Francis Tower in 1986, 74 flats. We refurbished them and sold them. Made some good money on that. And then we went around the country doing the same thing with other tower blocks. Because in those days, a lot of councils wanted to blow up tower blocks. It wasn't the 60s. They were built in the 60s and 70s. They realised it was causing all sorts of social problems. But mainly because they put the wrong people in them. You put families in a tower block, you got a problem. You put single older people perhaps in a tower block with communal facilities and it isn't a problem.
It's going to work,
The Hilton in Park Lane, that's a tower block. No one worries about Lisdale now, do they? So, it's a bit of a nonsense really. But so they used to blow them up and it cost £500,000 to blow them up. So if we offered them the famous pound or more, than that, then obviously they're on a bonus, and we would refurbish them and sell them to first-time buyers. So we did that for a number of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, around the country, different
And
places.
did you have anything to do with the Great White? Or have you got the Great White?
The Great White Horse?
Yeah.
Yes, I got a phone call about 6 months ago from someone. Actually, would you believe I'm a tenant of his?
Okay.
Because we own Fine and Country in Norfolk and most of Suffolk now. And in Norwich, the person that owned the Great White Horse was our landlord. So he phoned me because his office is above ours in Norwich. And he phoned me and said, I've just fed up with it, John. Just take it. I said, well, you don't mean take it. Anyway, long story short, we had a deal on it. I bought it with my partner, and it seemed a good idea at the time. Now, 6 months later, and at times £4,000 a week security.
Oh.
And I always thought the police did a wonderful job in Ipswich town centre. And I have to say, I think they are, how can I put this? I'm disappointed because they don't seem to be controlling the drugs. They don't be controlling the drug dealers. They don't seem to be controlling people breaking into buildings. I think there should be zero tolerance, personally, in these town centres. We need to get town centres back moving.
Yep. So is this like a hub? Was that?
Yeah,
we
had people breaking in. We had kids breaking in.
Right.
And their advice was, well, in September, John, it'll get easier because they all go back to school. It'll get better. Well, that's not quite
that's
the right
not
attitude.
really a solution.
Great answer, isn't it?
I spoke to the police commissioner 3 times, and 3 times he's done nothing about it. The council are struggling. You know, the town centre in Ipswich is our county town, and we need to take it back off whoever's controlling it at the moment. And it's not the people of Ipswich who are controlling it. It really isn't.
I mean, I think
it really isn't.
That's the thing. If you look in other counties, so you see in Cambridgeshire, and you see that you know how they treat Cambridge, and in Norfolk how they treat Norwich.
Yes,
I don't know why Suffolk doesn't do the same with Ipswich.
I don't know, and I'm a great supporter of the police. I don't think they get paid enough for doing what they do and so on. But in Ipswich, in the town centre, it's awful, and
it's
don't
really
like,
sad to see.
and I don't want to be knocking the police, but I have to say it's really disappointing. And they don't want to have a meeting with me to discuss it. I mean, it's all boarded up now. We took all the drugs out that were in there, which were, we had vagrants in there. They didn't, we presented the drugs to them, weren't even interested. There's 2 phone boxes around the corner where all the orders come in for drugs. And the police
is that down in the lane, down the back of the church?
Yeah. And the two phone, it's got to be the best 2 phone boxes for BT they've ever had, I should think. And they won't get rid of them. The council can't get rid of them, or won't. The police say, oh, well, they need to be used for emergency purposes. Everyone's got a mobile phone. The only emergency purpose they get used for is when someone's on a high or not on a high and needs some more drugs.
And the guy's burner phone's not working, so they just go to the payphone.
Honestly, it's out of control. It's out of control, and it's a big problem. So what we've done with the Great White Horse, the shops on the ground floor, we're trying to re-let.
Do they go out a lot at Christmas as like pop-up shops and things?
Well, they might do. We haven't had too many calls so far, to be fair. And to tell you how Ipswich has changed, Starbucks that used to be on the corner, I don't know if you remember, Starbucks for many years, they were paying £125,000 rent. We now want £30,000 for that unit.
Wow.
That's how it's changed.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. So that's how some of these, so a lot of pension companies and so on would own prime city centre, town centre shops and so on. Now they're not interested. And this has allowed smaller investors like ourselves and other people to come in and buy at huge discounts to what they were. But you still got to get them let. You still got a problem with rates. And one of the biggest problem with rates is that the council only keep 10% of the rates, the commercial rates. The rest go to central government.
Really?
So that's a big problem. So the Labour Party need to pull their finger out and sort that out.
But who controls the incentives to do it? Is it local or national?
Well, there's no incentive. You cannot get discount on any rates.
Because when you look at Ipswich Town Centre, so I mean, it's actually nice because, we've quite often had debates about, how you'd fix a town centre.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time you look at things like Debenhams, the old Debenhams building, and you think, well, why don't you just incentivize to get a John Lewis or a something or a whatever into the town, discount it heavily, set them up with car parking and what have you to bring people back into the town. And then once you've got that small hub, it will emanate out.
Absolutely.
Right? And all you do is you have someone with a common sense to say, look, if we want to zone town centre as leisure, let's zone it as leisure.
Yep.
And we incentivise by giving 0% rates on various leisure facilities for 3 years.
Yep.
Get it to be leisure, great. Or get it to be retail, whatever you want.
Yep.
But someone just have a plan and incentivise the right people to do it.
Yeah, you're in the wrong business, you are, aren't you?
Does it sound? I mean, I have this and go.
Let me just write there. I'll listen back to it because it's no problem. I'll listen back.
Listen back and take that advice.
You're absolutely right what you're saying. And to be fair to Ipswich Borough Council, who've taken some stick over the town centre over the years, they are trying. There is the town fund that was given to a lot of smaller towns in the UK. 110 towns got 25 million from the Conservatives. Now, some of these towns, including Labour, who are controlled by a Labour council, wouldn't use that money until they had a Labour MP.
Yep.
Now, that's politics.
Yeah.
That's politics. And we can all say, well, it's right or wrong. I've applied for 2 grants on the Great White Horse. I've got a hotel group who would like to take it. They're a big hotel group. They're not some Mickey Mouse lot. They're a big hotel group. The refurbish it is very expensive and they'll do it on a management agreement, so we keep owning it. That's the only way these big hotel groups work, is on a management agreement. And then I've also got application in for 20 flats to convert the back into 20 flats. But it'll be wonderful to bring that back as a hotel. Yeah. So many people have got wonderful memories about it.
It was a lovely
hotel. And it's almost got
you could go in there.
I remember going in there having a drink and stuff in the entrance.
It was a lovely place.
It was lovely. And to be able to bring it back would be one of my biggest achievements.
Especially
in my
that
career.
Side of the town. There's nothing.
I agree.
Nice.
That would really bring it up. And it's a 48-bedroom boutique hotel. They own Radisson brands and things like that. So they're a big company. They're not some Mickey Mouse.
But they should also be knocking down your door to deal with Debenhams. Because if they've got that new portal right there, they've got Grimwade's has been converted.
Yeah, well, they've bought Grimwade's and sorted that out. They had the opportunity to buy Debenhams, but I think the report, structure report wasn't great.
I heard that Debenhams has a swimming pool at the moment.
Probably. So they didn't buy it. And now Unix Property Group own it from Newmarket. Very, very big, successful property company.
And they're just going to sit on it?
I don't know. You have to.
I think it's just that you've got that really nice, you said the portal, and then you've got that backdrop behind it.
Yeah, well, someone asked me, I think it was the East Anglian asked me, what do you think you should do with Debenhams and so on? And my view was you get rid of all the taxis down the Lloyd's Avenue because you don't need taxis there now.
Yeah. You don't know anyway because everyone's just going on Uber.
Exactly. So get rid of the taxis. Make it pedestrian. You could get some really lovely local shops, a bit like St Nicholas Street's done.
Yeah.
Keep it no cars, and then knock most of Debenhams down and the old ABC cinema at the top. Get some quality residential in there. Got that lovely arch at the bottom. It would be cracking, and just have a smaller store, still be a big store, but a smaller store at the front, facing the Tavern Street or whatever it is. And that would be the way to do it, I think, and get some quality in the town centre. We did the deal with East Anglia Daily Times. We bought that building, knocked it all down with Stephen Clark from Church Manners, good friend of mine and my partner on that business. And we sold it to McCarthy and Stone. And McCarthy and Stone...
You've got the retirement flats.
And that's a high quality development with people who have got money, who will spend it in the town, which is what you need.
It's what,
You just got to create the town. That's it. Well, just the town needs creating now.
Property is never a property problem. It's always a people problem.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to say that, and I don't like saying it, but even with tower blocks and the rest of it, and areas of deprivation, normally it's the people there, sadly. And it may not be their fault. I'm not saying it is at times, but it is always a people problem, never a property problem.
Yeah.
So going back, is this, when you left school, has this always been within you? Have you always been in property?
Yes, I have. And the reason for that was I wasn't very bright. I was bottom of the class at school until Nick Young's turned up. Nick Young's played for England at rugby.
Yeah.
But he was bloody thick. And he was...
I was the bottom.
He was the best. He was the best thing that happened to me because he turned up. We had him at Gresham's at school because he was so good at rugby. I mean, he was like mega. I played for Norfolk at rugby under 16s, and he played, and he was like 10 times better than everyone else. And but he wasn't very bright. In fact, not bright. He was thick. And if I saw him today, I'd say the same thing. But
so he turned up, and you were really smart.
Listen, he's got 1,000 acres, so he's doing farming, so he can afford to be. So. And his 2 sons have played for England. So, you know.
He's doing all right.
He's done all right. He's done all right in his career and he's played for England. So he came and that took a bit of pressure off me. But I used to stammer until I was about 19. I was a stammerer. And so that made it a bit harder. But I was good at sport and that was the key. That, you know, being away at school, that's it. But being at sport. So I left school at 17 because my father had bought an estate agency in Felixstowe.
Okay.
So he was a greengrocer.
Right.
And then one day he decided to buy a small estate agency, which he did at 60 years old. I used to go and in those days you'd hold the tape, you know, measure up. So I would go with houses with him, with holidays and hold the tape and do that. And then eventually I joined him when I was 17. I could learn to drive. He'd been ill, been in hospital, came out of hospital. And then he went back into hospital. And it was 17 years, 4 months old. I was running the business. It was a very small business. It was tiny. And Mrs. Leader was the secretary. And Mrs. Leader used to give me spelling lessons in the morning because my spelling was so bad. You can't believe that now, can you? But anyway, there we go. And we used to do property management, a bit of insurance, as well as try and sell houses. And it was a total, you know what, it really didn't go, wasn't good. And at 18, and then on my 18th birthday, I bought 2 properties. We had a property developing client who in those days people would buy blocks of flats which had what we call sitting tenants. You couldn't get them out. That's where we're going back to that nearly now. But what with the new Renters Reform Act. But so this was the rump of a deal, and they just wanted out of it. And I'd saved a bit of money, and I didn't have enough money. The bank would lend me 50%. So I went to my mother and said, because she wanted a new kitchen, but my dad was too mean to buy a new kitchen. So I said, look, if you want a new kitchen, you want to invest with me, and we'll do this deal.
I'll then help you with your kitchen.
And then the profit, you can buy your kitchen.
Little hustler at the age.
So that's what we did. So I bought and sold one of them straight away to the tenant. I can't believe
you did a deal to blag your mum into invest.
Yeah. But the great thing is...
But she got her returns, right?
She got a return, and guess what? What's the next one we're buying? You know, and that's what happens.
Because now I need a new bathroom.
Bless her heart. And she's always been she was a brilliant supporter of me and my brother and my sister. And my dad was always worried that I would lose the money. You know, he never thought it was right if you're an estate agent to buy property as well. And, you know, I can sort of see that. But I soon realised after a few months, this estate agency is a bit of a mug's game because you're only getting 1.5%, 2% commission. I want to be buying them and selling them and making proper money. And in those days, you could make, you know, so I carried on buying and selling a bit. And then I met Mr. Boyce when I was 24. And he was a gentleman farmer, really, from Newmarket, but also started the Holiday Property Bond, which is massive now. And poultry, and they've still got a poultry business and all sorts. And so now I do deals with Andrew, his son. We've got 2 or 3 things we bought recently. And it just went on from there, really, yeah.
So what's the biggest, deal you've bought?
Well, we bought 360 flats in 1992 in West Brom.
Okay.
And the guy bought them before me 6 months early off the council for 75,000 each, these 2 blocks. They're 140, sorry, there was 3 blocks. 1 block we bought from the council, the other 2 blocks were 140 each, flats each in each block. And he pays 75,000 each for these blocks. And we came along 6 months later and we paid 1.55 million for them.
Wow.
Not bad. He made some good money, didn't he?
Yeah, just a smidge.
Do you know what? It's never bothered me what people make out of a deal. It's what I can do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what I can do. And that's the one, you know, I talk a lot of, you know, property events and so on. And never worry about what someone else has made out of it. If you can make good money out of it, that's all you should be worried about.
So has that always been your drive and your hunger? Has that never changed from when you, okay.
Mental consistency.
Yeah.
It's the only skill I've got.
So I have a question for you. So at school, where you kind of, until the rugby player turned up, it wasn't your thing.
No,
and then it was semi your thing as long as you just hung around with him. Was it almost that thing of going, you've left school, and so instead of anyone going down that route of going, well, John, you know, you're so intelligent, you should go down the academic route. Yeah. For you, it's like, do you know what? I've got nothing to lose. I'll just go and do this stuff. Yeah,
I think I got asked quite recently. In fact, some friends of ours, we're chatting, all the same similar age. Some people are retiring, some aren't. All property dealers and so on. And in those days, no one really went to university unless they wanted to be, you know, an accountant. Potentially now you don't need to because there's great apprenticeship for accountants, isn't there?
Yep.
Doctors, nurses, whatever it might be. And nurses didn't need to go to university in those days, and that's another problem. We won't go in there, but I don't think they should have to. And then, and people like that, or teachers or so on. No one else bothered. the girls used to, I sound sexist, I'm terribly sexist, and I don't mean to sound like that, but the girl, my sister, for instance, went to London, did a secretarial course. Mm-hmm. They then worked their way up through the companies. That's what they did. And they all lived in a flat together, the girls did, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And the guys would do something similar. A lot of us ended up going into a state agency, no qualification. I got 3 O levels. Mm-hmm. Even if you got A levels, you probably wouldn't go to university unless you really needed to. And when Blair came along and said 50% of people should go to university, that's great for people that should be going to university.
And they want that specific career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for the rest of them, you know, in Ipswich, there's very few property dealers and entrepreneurs like there used to be. And I think one of the reasons is people go to university, some waste 3 or 4 years and spend 60 grand doing it. Some don't, of course. But I think there's too many people going to university. There should be many, many more apprenticeships. Mm-hmm. It's got to be the way forward.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't got enough builders. We haven't got enough plumbers, electricians. Yeah. They can all earn a lot more money than a white-collar worker that's been to university on a...
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. On Joe Rogan's podcast, he had exactly that. He said, if you want to work out who the rich people are going to be very soon, it's all the electricians.
Well, do you know where
because there's such a shortage of electricians. Massive. And everything's going AI and smart homes.
Absolutely.
Said you don't have electricians. And even with the Renters Reform Bill, when you're talking about, because again, I think when you see one side of it, it's like, yeah, damn these slum landlords. But when you see the reality of it, you're going to have a landlord who's actually an impeccably good landlord.
Yeah.
You see that there's an issue, but they've got 24 hours to fix it. Now, even with your contacts, John, have you got plumbers and electricians you can instantly call on that are going to turn up inside of 24 hours to fix these problems?
No, I mean, if it's an emergency, of course you can do it. But if it isn't, and by the way, if you want to see an electrician or plumber, just turn up at the golf club on a Friday. They're there.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to work 5 days a week. On this Friday, they're playing golf. Yeah. So if you can't get hold of them, just pop down and just go. That's where they are. Yeah. That's my advice. Yeah. So absolutely right. And women can be electricians as well as men. Yeah. You know, that's the great thing about Sparkies. And perhaps ladies may not want to be builders or something, but certainly electricians it's in the dry. It's easy to price the work. Mm-hmm. There's emergency call outs, which is always handy, and all the rest of it. And I agree with you. Sparkies they can earn 100 grand if they work hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's going to be crazy. But I mean, you're exactly right. People should be doing that, but they're not.
No, they're not. And it's sadly, and I think the university is a bit of a con for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people come out of university very disappointed.
Well, I saw an article in the Ipswich Star where they said, the university has put together an entire esports lab for a degree in esports. Yeah. Right. And I think they had 5 people enrolled. And so you just think, at which point has someone kind of gone, someone just needs to shake their head and go,
They do.
What are you doing?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, Jenny, who's my new friend at university, she runs the thing, so I've got to be careful what I say. She invited me to the football. So, but you're right, and I think she would agree with that. That there's too many courses probably, and Suffolk's interesting university. It's become very well recently. And actually, it's got a lot of older students.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting concept, if you like. It's not full of young kids everywhere. There are some, of course. And of course, when it's set up, everyone thought, oh, great university city, a town, rentals and so on. Hasn't really worked like that because a lot of people live at home and drive in or whatever it might be.
But wouldn't it be nice just to, and the silly thing is, what I see in my head is just common sense. People seem to think as like this, but you don't live in a world of unicorns and rainbows and things. You have rules that says we must build X amount of houses.
Yeah.
But yet you don't incentivize anyone to go and do a course in building, plumbing, electrician. And you think, where do you think these people are going to come from?
Well, it's interesting. So Suffolk College, which has got 6,000 students, with what we're doing at the mill, we're doing a scheme with Suffolk College, so some of their apprenticeships can come across, and some of the people, some projects on it and that sort of stuff. So that will be interesting. We did a similar thing, probably not so much in those days with the wine rack 4 years ago with Carter's, but we're doing a lot more this time with the college again. So that will be interesting. And I think
that's really good.
Yeah, and I think we all have to try and put something back and all the rest of it, and keep going.
So the state of Suffolk and what's going on. What's the solution?
Well, have me as mayor. That's the solution.
I'd vote you in.
Thank you. Have me as mayor. It's very nice. Everyone you speak to says that, but I'm not sure they're all telling the truth.
I've heard people say they like me.
Exactly. So who likes an accountant? Come on.
Exactly.
Especially when they deliver the bad news. Oh, yeah, 31st of January. My accountant always sends me, tell me what my tax is going to be. Oh, happy Christmas, John. And by the way,
this is what you are.
This is what you are on the 31st of January. Oh, yeah, thanks a lot. Anyway, so I got involved in politics probably 10, 12 years. Ben Gunner, I thought was a brilliant MP for Ipswich, and he's supported me and helped me with the wine rack and all the rest of it, and get the funding off Homes England, which is the government bank, and we spent 26 million doing that project. And I ended up canvassing. I love canvassing, door knocking. It's all quite good fun with the Conservatives. And then I was asked to be chairman, which I was happy to do, and then. We won the election with Tom Hunt, and we won with Ben one year, and then we won. Then when I was chairman, we won with Tom Hunt, and then I said, well, I've done my bit really. I'll step down a little bit, and they make you president. Then when you get old, they make you president. Notice that, or legend, whichever of the two. It's not the compliment people think it is. So. And then, so I was still involved in the politics side, but never that political. I was more interested really in getting Ipswich. The counties of Norfolk and Suffolk are more important than the political party you represent, in my view.
Yeah.
So the new mayor, the Sadiq Khan in London runs London basically, and they're doing the same thing in Norfolk and Suffolk. No one quite understands it all yet, but that's what's happening. So you become the mayor.
It's the devolution.
Yeah, devolution. You become the mayor of the combined authorities. So I applied to be the candidate for the Conservatives. A lot of support of MPs and people I know. I went to have my first job interview ever at Central Office, and I was interviewed by Theresa May's husband, which was bit bizarre because he's a member of the voluntary party, and another lady, very good. I thought the interview went quite well. And then I had to do an online questions, competency test it was, which clearly I failed.
Oh, no.
So there was questions like, you've got to go to India to represent Norfolk and Suffolk. It's going to cost £100,000. The budget you haven't got a budget of 100,000. What do you do? I said, well, cut half the people out that are meant to be going, get it down to 50 grand.
Yeah.
And,
negotiate the deal.
But apparently that's not the right answer. Anyway, so I then got an email saying I wasn't going to be put in the last 5, which I thought was a bit insulting because one of the ladies got in the 5, posted a month beforehand of a steak and a red wine, and underneath it on Facebook, she put, I wonder what the poor people are eating tonight. And she got through and I didn't. And I thought, you know what? It's time to go.
Yeah.
So I resigned as president, and it's sad to leave because we're a dysfunctional family. Family. Every political party's we got all sorts in it,
and you'd invested and been around
exactly.
For so long.
And then I've been the auctioneer at events and spoke at different events for them and so on. Anyway, and then Reform got hold of me and said, "Look, why don't you come and join us?" I said, "Well, I'd like to, be a candidate for the election for the Reform. Where you can put your name forward." Went to the conference, met Paul Nuttall, who's the vice chairman. I know David Ball from a few years ago, the chairman as well, and then. So they all said some very nice things. Blah blah blah. A few days later, I got a no thanks. We don't want you as the mayor, as a candidate. It's all a bit political, probably, and I'm a new boy and all the rest of it. So it's fair enough, So now I'm thinking, well, shall I? I'm a member of Reform. I agree. You never agree with every policy every political party has. It just doesn't happen. But I think the Tories have, for the last 5 years, they were awful. And like I said, in the Independent got hold of it and said, here, you moved across and all the rest of it. And I didn't know why at that point, why I wasn't in the last 5. That was until the spokesman for Central Office said, well, Mr. Howard will be very well, is a reflection of Reform. He failed the competency test. So I thought that was a good one. That was a good one, wasn't it? Really. So that was anyway. So now I'm not in limbo at all. But I think the reform candidate's going to be announced in the next few weeks. I'll see who it is, and then I'll decide whether. I don't think it's very, very hard as an independent to. I think it was just Suffolk. It might be a lot. It would be easier, but Suffolk and Norfolk. I've got businesses in Norfolk. I tick all the boxes. Yeah. I don't believe it's a political post. I think it should be a business post. I think it's really important. And the problem is, if Reform win, they'll get no help from the government because the government want them to fail. So they'll get no help from the government if it's a Reform mayor. Whereas if you're independent, you're no threat to anyone.
And Norfolk, do they mirror the same problems that Suffolk's having?
Slightly different problems. Okay. They've got a road that they spent 50 million on and then decided that there's some rare bats, so they stopped it.
Which one was that? A47?
It was a link road around Norwich. Okay. I mean, so that needs to be sorted. There's a few things that need to be sorted out, like everywhere. Infrastructure is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was quite fascinated when I think the chairman of Reform was on.
Yeah, David. He lives in Suffolk, by the way.
Some news channel, really?
Yeah, he does. He lives near Diss, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he was asked, and I think he was talking about, like, we're going to make £141 billion worth of promises, but we've got 150 billion worth of savings. And I think his answer, where someone said, well, where are you going to save it? He said, well, just shave 5% of what we spend. And it was almost like this thing where the person interviewing went, well, you can't just say that. He said, well, of course you can. Yeah. In any business, you tell every department, save 5%. If you can't, we'll just find someone who can. Yeah. Magically, everyone saves 5%. Just do that. And they went, well, yeah, but that's just made up figures. I went, that's just general business. Yeah. And at that point, I went, yeah, do you know what? This guy's talking sense.
Said you need to look at it as a business.
It really is common sense. And so many people since I joined Reform have rung me, contacted me, LinkedIn, or have said, oh, yeah, I'm Reform. It's people you wouldn't expect, to be fair.
Yeah.
I did a podcast similar to this with Mani Chopra, who's a friend of mine, and she runs a very big property group. And I'm going to speak in Hemel Hempstead in a few weeks' time. In fact, when I was booked to speak there, we thought the budget would have come and gone, and we can talk about what's going to happen, the fallout from the budget. Of course, I've now got to go and say what I think the budget's going to do.
Got to predict
so that's great. So I said, Manny, can we cancel? She said, no, we can't. Anyway, so I did a podcast with her, and she's obviously Indian, and it was in the back of a house, and they've got a studio at the back of the house, and they had friends there, and they had a daughter who's a solicitor, and a friend of hers who works in social care. And two of the cameramen, because they film it as well, were all Indian. They're all Indian. And I said, and we're chatting about politics. And I said, well, how are you going to vote? All going to vote Reform. All going to vote Reform. And that interests me because people tend to think, Reform is a little bit racist. I went to the conference and I have to say there was all sorts of people there, but the majority of the people were women.
Yeah, that doesn't actually surprise me.
And women who have never been involved in politics before, but have had enough.
Yeah,
and it's a movement.
I think that's what it is. Yeah,
it's a genuine movement, and unless
had enough,
unless Nigel says something stupid, or
it is possible,
and it is possible because they're off the cuff a bit.
Yeah,
they haven't got at the moment a lot of organisation.
Yeah,
they need 7,000. They need 7,000 candidates for the May elections. That's if Keir Starmer doesn't cancel them because of the mayoral elections, which he's trying to do, because if he loses badly, he's out.
Yeah.
If Kemi loses badly, she's out.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But
watch
of course, if you give enough political party enough rope to hang themselves, they will.
Yeah.
And my worry is that they come in, they take over, Reform come in, they take over all these councils. They don't do. It's hard because everyone's against them.
Yeah.
It's like going into a company when no one wants you there, and going, right, I'm cutting this, cutting that, and do this. And they go, no, well, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the Home Office, is that Sarava Braverman, we had her for dinner for the Conservatives, and she said to me, look, you try and get things done, but they all refuse to do it. And they refuse to do it on the basis they know you won't be there long. And that's the fact, isn't it? She wasn't there long. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go off politics.
Yes, good idea.
I want to take you back to property.
Yeah.
With how things are now, would you advise anyone gets into property?
Yes.
Okay. Which area?
Whatever area they find interesting.
Okay.
I've got a friend of mine who buys and sells lock-up garage. He's got 2,500 garages. He's very boring. but he makes money out of garages. So there's lots of ways of making money out of property, but you must have a passion for what you're interested. You must be interested in it, like anything, and you must enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, if you're not interested in it, I don't like HMOs anymore. I did beds.
Do you tend to only go for the big boys? You seem to go for the who? No. Okay.
No. So we do lots of smaller stuff as well. I've got 10 different developments on the go around England and Scotland. Scotland, I've got 2 in Scotland at the moment. Some are better than others, to be fair, the way the market's going. But yeah, so no, we're quite happy to buy, house in 3 flats or as much as we are a block of flats, 100 flats. Yeah. So, we're very flexible. I'm just investing in some children's homes at the moment with someone as well. I've just been made a non-exec director of a housing association. That's a very interesting field. This government have made 39 billion available to housing associations. Okay, you won't get it all at once. I think they're drawing down the first 5 billion in April, and they won't be around in 10 years' time to do the whole lot, will they? Probably. But yeah, so it's very interesting, that housing association side, assisted living. Do you know that there's 16 children in Suffolk costing 1.3 million to take to school in taxis?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. It's madness. The whole thing is madness. The money and the central government have forced the councils to pay that. That's paid. That comes out of everyone's, the council's budget.
Yeah.
So that I think Suffolk County Council, something like 78% of their budget is on social care. It's unsustainable.
That's
unsustainable,
huge, isn't it? Yeah.
Big problem.
But someone needs to just go in and shake it up. But that's the problem. I mean, I've lived in Ipswich for however long, and I still don't know who's in charge.
Yeah, well, they need to kick some ass, and I think the problem is if you have a political leader as mayor, that doesn't happen. Whereas non-political, you've got a much easier route.
You need a business mind as opposed to
also
political.
you can then pick you'll get a staff of 40, but you can pick them from the Labour, Liberals, Conservatives, Reform, all the best people. Whereas if you are a Conservative or you're Reform, you're really limited to who you
can't
pick.
You can't easily pick the other parties.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. So that's one reason why I might consider putting my name forward, but we'll see. Probably not. We'll see.
I really hope you do.
Thank you.
I hope you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely get my vote.
They'd get my vote.
That's 2.
You've got 2. There you go. You're on your way up. Come on.
You must know someone else as well who'd like to get 3 or 4.
Well, my wife, sometimes she might vote on occasion.
Yeah.
So 1.7 million people in Norfolk and Suffolk.
Is that what is that the
population? Yeah.
And what do you reckon you need to win it? More than 4?
More than 4, but I don't. There'll be a very low turnout because people don't understand it. A lot of people couldn't care less about it. It'll be a very low turnout, I think. Very low.
How many people across Suffolk and Norfolk did you say?
1.7 million.
So half of them probably tune into our podcast.
Well, more than half probably now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, now we know they've got John on.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah.
So we'll get them to vote. Yeah, we're good. We're fine.
We're good.
Have you ever come across Mark Ling, by the way?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. He talks a lot of sense.
Lots of sense. I like him.
Really like him.
I like him. He talks a lot of sense. And I think he's a bit frustrated when I always speak to him. He's like, I just cut,
but I don't think I've ever seen someone with more passion and drive
I agree.
to try and do things for the local area.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
And that he gets 80% of the way through and then someone stops him.
Someone stops him. And it's,
he's got it on Broomhill and he's,
Yeah, and Ipswich Town Centre is similar. I've had people come up to me, really, really good people who are trying to make Ipswich Town Centre better. They haven't got an angle. They're not trying to make money out of it. They're doing it for free. And Ipswich Central is very good as well. That's a very, very good organisation who are trying to make things, trying to make things better. But they're pushing against a closed door, which I cannot understand.
Yeah.
Really can't.
Who's holding the door?
Well, I think the police. And I don't like knocking Ipswich Borough Council because we've got to work. All got to work together. But I do think they could be more. They could be more dynamic. And I think the chief exec there is doing her very best. Don't get me wrong, but it's difficult.
But the devolution deal will make it easier, right?
The devolution deal would make it easier for the mayor, to do something.
Yeah.
But you still got to get people to work on you.
Because that's the thing. You always look for the figurehead, but then you have the mayor here, and then you've got Jack Abbott here, and you've got someone else here, and someone else here.
Well, the one thing Ben Gummer did, he took politics out of local leadership.
I really liked him.
So Ben said, "Look, I don't care what colour you vote. what's so important is Ipswich. Let's pull together and get things done.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly. And unfortunately, with Tom Hunt, I like Tom, and I work with him, but he
was back to being quite Tory, wasn't he?
Yeah, he never quite saw that.
Yeah.
And we had lots of discussions about it and so on. But he never quite saw it, which that's his opinion. We're all allowed an opinion.
Amazing.
Wow.
I'm blown away. Do you know, John, if ever I can, I just want to sit with you for hours and hours and hours and hours.
I can see you just want to keep going.
Do you know what? If you come to my 2-day masterclass, you can sit with me for 2 days. So 2 days. I only do 4 a year in London, the property masterclass. So I don't get that many happen. So you're very welcome. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, John. It's been a pleasure.
Not
John,
at all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Fun Side of Business podcasts, brought to you by Any IT for any of your IT requirements. Why not catch Nick and Jem on the Extra Slice, available to all our subscribers? Thanks for listening.